Hi guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Coming to you on Friday. It must be about, I think it's about 8:30 on Friday night. Yeah, just back from my run. Took the dogs a quick walk. Weather has been absolutely shite. I mean, summer I think is gone. I mean, I was at a run tonight and I've got to say it wasn't cold, but it was miserable. It was that light rain, just overcast, cloudy. It's so miserable. It really is. But anyway, I hope you've all had an alright week. I've had better weeks. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, definitely had better weeks. Before I start, and it really saddens me that I have to keep making these kind of mentions, but I can't not mention the absolutely tragic events in London this week. I mean, in this, society, the 21st century that we live in, why these things are allowed to happen is just it's unacceptable. But unfortunately, it always seems to a lot of these things they need, or they don't need, but it takes something catastrophic to happen before things actually happen. It really is. I mean, what's particularly disturbing is the fact that the sort of community group in that area that represented the people who lived in that high-rise flats, I should say, they had made their concerns known back in November last year about the sort of fireproofing or lack of fireproofing, lack of sort of fire alarms and that kind of stuff, and it just went completely unheeded. So, my thoughts go out to every single person that's affected by this. If anyone's watching this that happens to be down in London, it's terrible. I mean, there's just been so many not nice things happening in the UK these last sort of 3-4 months, but there's just something about that. I mean, that was avoidable, and yeah, absolutely awful. So my thoughts go out to every single person that's affected. It's terrible. I just hope that the government learn by this and make sure it absolutely doesn't happen again, because it's totally lost for words. So yeah. What have I been doing this week? I have been at my computer club. Was at my computer club. Now I took along the Dreamcast with the GDM unit, and absolutely fantastic. Great bit of kit. The only downside is I noticed that the second player port wasn't working. Fortunately, I had a spare Dreamcast, so I've now swapped it over and all is hunky dory. But really good, great fun. I always enjoy the computer club. Pardon me very much. Apart from that, gaming wise, have I been playing anything? What have I been doing? Have I been playing any games? I've not been playing many games at all this week. I was on the PlayStation 4. Can't remember for the life of me what I was playing, if indeed anything. No, can't think. No, can't think. I think I was playing my PC Engine Duo, or the PC Engine CD thing for a wee while last week, or this week I should say. But aye, anyway, you've probably seen it was the E3 thing. That's a big announcement, basically telling gamers what's coming out. Now, I'm not particularly interested, considering I'm a gamer. I'm not particularly interested in the new stuff. I'll see what's coming out when it's actually out, or usually when people start talking about games, that's when I'll sort of sit up and take notice. So I didn't really. I watched a demo of it was a kind of split screen game where you're playing two escaped criminals, and it's split screen. It's quite interesting because it shows well, in fact I was going to say it's original. It's not really. It shows, what do you call it, the game from each player's perspective, but then there's lots of games that do that as well, but it looks quite nice. But yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention because I'm not really a modern gamer as such. But anyway, so listen, I don't have any, because I've had such a busy week at work. I really have. I've not got any of my own subjects to talk about, but I've got another absolutely feast full of questions from all you wonderful people that seem to enjoy watching the channel. So I'm just going to batter it. And I should warn you guys, mid waffle, I'll suddenly appear in the kitchen because my wife's talking about she's very tired, so she's going to go up to her bed soon. And I'm not a fan. It's funny, although I'm quite I can sort of talk in front of people, not a problem. I don't like doing presentations, but I can quite happily talk in groups of people. Don't have an issue with that. Don't have an issue doing what I'm doing here. I'm speaking to, I'm speaking to a camera, I'm speaking to an inanimate object, but potentially I'm talking to quite a few people. But if I know somebody is through the door listening to me, I tend to freeze up. So yeah, and our bedroom is just through that wall, so when she goes to her bed, I'll be moving downstairs to the kitchen, so don't be surprised when I suddenly change where I'm sitting. So let's just get right in about them. So first off, Craig Wilson, what do you think of the fact that a new, more powerful 4K Xbox One, the Xbox One X, is being released in November for about £400? Too much too soon. Wasn't that a song by the Specials? Too much too young it was. I know you prefer your older consoles and games, and although I like my new games as much as my old games, I just feel things are moving too fast. I don't really feel that I'm particularly qualified to question, not so much to question, to give a proper opinion, Craig, because I don't really I'm not a big modern gamer, but it probably comes as no surprise. I totally agree with you. But then, this is coming from somebody who still loves to play. That's what I was doing. I was trying to think what I was playing. I was playing an absolute ton of Dreamcast games. Was it Wednesday? Can't remember what day it was. Yeah, but this is a guy that still loves playing all these old systems. But I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I look upon the PS4 as being cutting edge. That is the cutting edge of my collection. And to bring out another machine, I'm going to say it's so soon. I don't know when. When did the PlayStation 4 come out? I don't know. Was it 3-4 years ago? I have no idea. But it seems to be that back in the day, systems, I mean, it was computers, the Commodore 64, the Spectrum, they had about 10 years life out of them before they were superseded. The Mega Drive, the PlayStation, the PlayStation, it was getting games made for it. I think it was, I don't know, was it 10 years old? Maybe not quite as much as that, but it was a lot longer than modern consoles now. But now it just seems that they're bringing out these new machines quicker and quicker and quicker. Now, it won't come in any surprise when I say this, but I'm really not. I've got no real interest in 4K, anything like that. I mean, when I'm watching a film, I'll always try and obviously, watch it in HD. If it comes to it, I'll watch a film in standard definition. But nowadays there's really no films made in standard definition. But I'll quite happily sit and watch a film from the 80s in VHS quality. That doesn't bother me. My TV downstairs, the big TV downstairs, it's an HD plasma. It's 42 inches, and at the time it seemed absolutely gigantic. Now it would be considered quite a small TV for a living room, but it's a standard TV. It's actually 10 years old. I got it in 2007, so it's 10 years old. And you know what? I've got no interest in replacing it. I mean, when it eventually falls over, when it stops working, then I'll go out and get a new TV. But I've got no interest in getting a new one. So I've got to say, like 4K and 3D. I've got two dogs in with me just now, and one of them has just let off, and it is the most awful smell ever. I don't know what one it was. It was either him or him. Oh dearie me. Yeah. So I 4K doesn't interest me. By all means, if somebody gave me a TV, a 4K TV, and a PlayStation Pro, whatever, I would be like, that's great. But I don't have any real thing. But getting back on track, Craig, your question, I do think they're replacing things too quickly. They do it because they're making money, and there's always a market for it. But it kind of feels like, again, maybe it's just me, it kind of feels like HD and 1080p is, to me, it's still quite a recent invention. But then I've just this minute said that my TV's 10 years old, so yeah, that kind of technology is 10 years old. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I watch the television downstairs, not that I watch much TV, 99% of the TV I watch is just normal definition. I'm quite happy with that. Absolutely quite happy with that. So HD, I mean, I think, is it BBC One? I don't know, ITV, whatever. You get that in HD, but in the main, I just watch standard definition. Excuse me, just had my dinner. But yeah, I mean, HD isn't something that really, I still look upon HD as being quite new, and now we're into the realms of 4K. It's like, to be honest, I've never even seen a 4K television. I've no doubt if I saw it, I'd probably be quite impressed, but personally, it's not something that interests me, you know. And yeah, I do think that they're just reeling out consoles too much. I mean, I really don't think, you know, if you're bringing out a new Xbox and we've already got a new PS4 Pro, then it's almost like they're saying, well, these ones are now superseded, and it's only going to be a matter of time before they stop supporting them. They do it because they're making money. It's as simple as that. But I do agree with you, Craig. I just think, you know, let's just reel it back in. I mean, I'm still playing games on 8-bit machines and having a great fun, so you don't have to keep improving the graphics of things to make them better. It's just like, it's almost like they think that people will get bored after a couple of years and they want something new. Maybe there's some people like that. Maybe younger generation are like that, but I'm certainly not like that. So, you know, yeah, I think they're bringing it out too soon. But you know what? I've no doubt the people that it's targeting will be all over it, you know, so they'll be delighted with it. So yeah, anyway, now that was one question. Craig also asked a question the week before which I completely forgot. Excuse me. If you had the space and were offered 10 free arcade cabinets, games, and could choose anything, even big sit down or moving motion cabinets, what would they be? Oh, blimey, Craig. Right, from the off, I'm looking at one. Absolutely a Robotron, 1942, Galaxian, a Outrun sit-down cab, Star Wars sit-down, a Berserk cab, Defender, 3 to go. I wouldn't go for Space Harrier. I'm really not too bothered with Space Harrier. Probably a Gauntlet. I think a 4-player Gauntlet. Gauntlet 2 even. A Gauntlet 2 cab. That would be nice. 2 to go. Probably have to be something like Dodonpachi. A proper arcade, full-size CRT jobby Dodonpachi. And I think I would go for Street Fighter 2 proper joysticks, because I think it would then encourage me to play. It's a game that I'd always love to play, but I've just never made the effort to actually learn it. But I think if I had an actual cab, I would learn it. So yeah, that would be my 10. Don't ask me to repeat them because I can't remember. But anyway, listen, Craig, thank you. Right, John Yin. Thanks, John. Number 1, can you think of any 8-bit versions of games that were better than their 16-bit counterparts? Others have made videos along similar lines, but it's an interesting area of discussion, I think. Maybe one that springs to mind without looking as creatures on the Commodore 64. There was a few games. It's a good question, John. Let me think. Microprose Soccer by Sensible Software. The C64 version is definitely better than the Amiga one. Another game, Whizball, again another sensible soccer game, sensible software game. Whizball in the Commodore 64 is awesome. The summer games, I would say the Epix games, summer games, winter games, summer games too, they are all much better on the Commodore 64 in my opinion. Some people might disagree with that, but yeah, the 16-bit versions have got nicer graphics, but they lost the playability. It's all about the playability, so definitely. And another game I'd probably say is slightly better, and it's what's it called? Buggy Boy. I was going to say Beach Buggy. Buggy Boy. The Commodore 64 version is excellent. Probably a lot more playable than the 16-bit versions. But these are the ones that spring to mind. There was other ones as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, there's never a Drop Zone. There was never Bruce Lee or Beachhead, anything like that at all. Uridium, possibly again. I think sometimes like Uridium is better. Then, of course, there was things like Manic Miner, obviously Spectrum Classic, and it came out in the 16-bit. But they insisted in improving the graphics, but it just lost it. So yeah, that's games that I would definitely say I would always play the 8-bit versions. Next question, number 2 from John. Do you ever go charity shopping for games now? I have a look, and oddly enough, there was a pile of Wii games at a local shop today. I don't bother as I'm not a collector, but there was a guy in his 20s drooling over them and using his phone to check prices online. They were pitched at £3 each, which seemed remarkably fair considering. I've been into a couple of charity shops, John. I'm like you, I'm not a collector as such, so I don't go out looking just for games to get. I went through a phase in maybe about a month, maybe about a year ago, popping into charity shops, and I think I picked up a couple of games. In fact, I think I picked up Wii Sports Resort, and when I got it back, the disc wasn't even in the thing, so there you go. I kind of got stung with that one, but I think bargains like that, car boot sales and charity shops, you will still get the occasional bargain, but in the main, I would say they're kind of a thing of the past, so I'm not a big fan of charity shops, but I know lots of people do like it. Number 3, similar thought. Have you ever found an absolute cracker in a charity shop, like a complete retro collection or for peanuts? Charity shop wise, no, but I was at a car boot sale. It was the last car boot sale I was at actually. It was actually the local radio station organised it, so and it was like £15 to take part. So me, my wife, and my daughter, we chucked loads of stuff in the back of the car, and we had a stall. We were selling stuff, and I went for a wander, and I saw a box with like a Mega Drive, and it was a big box about yawn height from the ground, and it had a Mega Drive, and I started kind of looking through it, and there was like games and all that, and I said to the guy, how much you want for that, mate? And he's like, I think he said, is it 50 quid, something like that, I can't remember. And I said, that's fine, thanks. And I walked away, and I came back about an hour later, and it was still there, and I said, listen, I'll give you £30 for it. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. So I took the box away. It was a huge box, and it turns out there was I think there was 2 Mega Drive originals. There was a Mega Drive 2, there was a ton of games, and there was a Mega CD. So that wasn't a bad haul. Although other non-charity game bargains, I got a Vectrex Plus. It was about 7 games for 70 quid about 3 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I got the Atari 800, Atari 400, a disc drive, plus tons and tons of games for 70 quid. So yeah, they're my bargains. But yeah, I don't make a point. I don't go to car boot sales at all now. But yeah, quite happy with them. So anyway, John, thank you very much, Square. Once again, thanks for all your support. Right, the ever-present Mr. Batman. Number 1, for a possible topic, 5060 gaming. Do you mod or have you got your systems modded? I'm referring largely to systems like the Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Saturn to run in 60 MHz, or do you try and preserve the experience as it was out of the box for us European gamers? For me, nostalgia is all well and good, but if I know a game can play with a larger screen display and a bit faster, then I'm all for that. I'm exactly the same as you. I mean, my Mega Drive and my SNES are both modded. I didn't do it. I can't do things like that. I'm exactly the same. I'll put the SNES on or whatever it is, and I'll play a game just for a couple of minutes on PAL, and then I flick the switch. You know, I can flick the switch on the fly, so suddenly the game will just go ding, and it will spring up full screen, much better. So I'm exactly like yourself, but I mean, it would be silly to play it. Although saying that, my mate Dave, he he made an interesting video talking about, I think it was a Mega Drive. Go and check it out. And he said that, I mean, he's got his Mega Drive modded, but he still likes to play Sonic in 50 megahertz because that's what he was used to. And you know what? Again, I understand that. I mean, perhaps if I had a game that I'd played a lot. I mean, I'd never had a Mega Drive or SNES when I was a kid. Well, I had a SNES for a short period of time, so I don't have the nostalgia side of it to kind of look back on. But I think, yeah, I do understand why if you were playing a game a lot as a kid on PAL, you may want to retain the same experience. But I'll always play it. I mean, I've permanently got these machines switched to 60 megahertz because, you know, why wouldn't you? You're getting a better experience. And number 2, do you count the ROMs that you have, be they an emulator or original systems, along with your physical games as part of your collection, or do you consider only physical games as part of the collection? No, I would say everything's my collection. I mean, if I was listing, you know, if somebody says to me, list your collection, I would list the systems, I would list the games that I've got, and I would list like a Commodore 64, the Ultimate 2 cartridge. What I wouldn't do is say I've got 20,000 games for the Commodore 64, because that would be a lie. I do have the ROMs for them, and I've got the wherefore-all, or I've got the kit to be able to play all these games. But I wouldn't. If somebody said to me, how many games have you got, I would just count the box games that I've got. I wouldn't count ROMs as being part of the collection, but they're an integral part of my collection because at the end of the day I do use them, and whether it's a physical thing or whether it's just something on a hard disk, it's still part of my collection. But from the purpose of like doing an inventory, I wouldn't say to anybody I've got every game from the Commodore 64. What I would tell them is I've got a cartridge which allows me to play all these games, you know. So yeah, but an interesting point. So anyway, Bat, thank you very much again, Squire. Right, moving on. Ian Hunter, do you own a Commodore VIC-20? I'm guessing no, as I don't ever remember you featuring one on any of your vids. It's astonishing to play some of your later stuff in one of these machines. Actually, Ian, I do, and it's in the loft. Right, and as if by magic, I am down in that there kitchen. The actual card ran out of space, so I just stopped it and thought I'd come downstairs. So anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about, Ian was asking about the VIC-20. I do own a VIC-20. It's a rather bastardised VIC-20 because when I got it, I was actually given it for free. One of my mates gave it to me. A couple of the keys were snapped off it, but I had a spare Commodore 64 bread bin. It didn't work, so what I did was I just swapped out the case. So it's a VIC-20 inside a Commodore 64 case. What I need to do, because just when I read your question, Ian, you know, it got me thinking about it. The reason I've never really used it is because I don't have any games for it. But I did a Google last night, and I've since found out that the Ultimate 2 cartridge that I've got for the C64 works on the VIC-20. So I'm going to have to stick some games on it and dig it out of the loft and give it a bit of love. I mean, it's a system I never ever owned back in the day. I mean, it kind of disappeared by the time I got my first computer. I was a C64. So I don't have any memories. I mean, there's not really any games. I know a few games on it just because I've seen people playing them, like Matrix by Lamasoft, stuff like that, but I really don't know any games. So I think I'm going to make a point of sticking games on the Ultimate 2 cartridge and digging it out and seeing if I can get it to work. So yeah, I mean, you're mentioning there's some amazing games. It'd be interesting if you could stick below any games that you think are worth checking out. So anyway, thanks for that, Ian. I do appreciate that. Right, Tony, Mr. Retronic Collector, my good mate Tony. Thank you very much, Tony. Always appreciate you taking time to answer my questions. I know Tony's got a similar kind of, his is the Wednesday vlog that he does, and it's kind of similar to this. He basically sits down in front of the camera and talks pish like myself. So go and check him out. I'll stick a wee link to Tony's website below, actually. Go and check him out, please. First one from Tony. Have you ever owned an Atari Jaguar or even played games on one, and if so, what do you think of it? I do, Tony, actually. Now, I do have a video. I'm sure I've put together a video about it before, like I do in most systems. The Atari Jaguar, you could call it a failed machine. I mean, I think it was the first 64-bit machine. I think the problem was the price, and then I think it came out. Did it come out just before the PlayStation? I can't remember exactly. I'm not very good with my history, but I think it came out just before the PlayStation. But then the PlayStation came out and essentially ran away. It just stole its thunder completely. Unfortunately for the Jaguar, there's not many games worth getting. I've got maybe 10 games for it, maybe not quite as many. About the only game that is absolutely worth buying the system for, in my opinion, and it's Tempest 2000 by Jeff Minter. It is generally regarded as the best game for the Jaguar, which you could say isn't really saying very much, but Tempest 2000 is it's an amazing port of Tempest, so definitely worth getting. I like the Jaguar. It's got a really bizarre controller. It looks more like a till register. It's got all these numbers and buttons on it. I think you had overlays that I think you put across it. I mean, other games, is it not Drive Club? I can't remember what it's called. Is it the Drive Club? Club Drive? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a driving game and it's shite. There's another game that I love to bits, and it's generally regarded as an awful game, and it's Katsumi Ninja. I have done a feature of it before. It's basically Mortal Kombat, but it's got some really bizarre characters. I mean, the most infamous one for me is it's got a Scottish guy who wears a kilt, and it's just hilarious. I mean, the animation's not the greatest, but people say it's a terrible game, but I don't think it is. There's always people who like to sort of categorise and make statements about games. I mean, if you Google what is the worst game ever, people will say Pac-Man on the 2600 or E.T. in the 2600. Now, neither of these games come anywhere near the worst games ever, but people like to categorise things. But yeah, I do have a Jaguar, Tony, and I quite like it. It's one of these, there's something fun about playing bad games. And I mean, the Jaguar, it's definitely getting harder and harder to find. So I was lucky enough to. Where did I get it? I bought it from a mate actually. So I'll be keeping it. It's one of these systems that is becoming more and more harder to find, and it's probably becoming worth a bit more money as well. But not that I'm interested in that. But yeah, some great games, not many, and the majority are absolutely shite. But I love it to bits. So number 2. How many games have you got so far for the Nintendo Switch? And out of all the games you own, which is your particular favourite? I've only got 2 games so far, Tony. I've got Zelda Breath of Wind or Breath of Fire, whatever the hell it's called, I can't remember. Now, I did harp on about how wonderful the game is, and it's an amazing game. That said, I've not played it for bloody ages, which is not a surprise because I'm a twat when it comes to things like that. Hey, I'm also a poet. The other game I've got is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is it called? I think it is. Great game. It's a wonderful game. I mean, I've been playing that a lot more. Being able to play a game that looks as good as Mario Kart 8 in your hand is just a thing of beauty. So that's the only 2 games that I've got. Coming up, I'm going to be getting. I can't wait to get the Mario one. That looks really nice. It looks really good. and also I'll be getting Splatoon 2 because my daughter Ava, she played the original Splatoon to death, so I'll be getting these 2 games. But I've not got any regrets about getting the Switch. I think it's still quite difficult to get a hold of, but yeah, the 2 games I've got for it are amazing. I don't know if there's much more out there. I mean, there's one, what was it called again? A fighting game. I can't remember what it's called again. It looks quite interesting, but I'm not a fighting game sort of fan, so it'd probably sit and not get used. Pretty much like the other games I've got for it. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Number 3. What's your favourite 8 Commodore 64 games? I love how you come up with random numbers, not 10, not 5, but 8. Right, off the top of my head now, if you ask me this tomorrow, Tony, I'll probably give you 8 different answers. I'm not going to pick the 2 because they're basically the same game, but the sequel's better. Super Pipeline 2. These are not in any particular order. Super Pipeline 2, Drop Zone, Bruce Lee, Whizball, that's 4, Beachhead, you know what, I've actually got a cartridge that I got made up with my 20 favourite games, and I'm trying to remember what they are. Oh bloody hell, what else? I've got 3 to go. See, you put me in the spot. Another 3 games that I love in the Commodore 64. Blimey, my mind has gone a complete and utter blank. Iridium, not really. Paradroid, another great game, but not one of my favourite games. Probably going to go for Commando by Elite. I know it's glitchy, I know it's only got 3 levels, but I love that to bits. Miner 2049er, Oblique, what do you call it? Bounty Bob Strikes Back, which is the sequel. And probably Summer Games by Epix. Yeah, Summer Games by Epix. That's my top 8. There's a load more. I mean, to try and pick my definitive 8, Tony, is difficult. It's like trying to pick, if you had 2 children, what one would you kill? So that's a tough question, mate. But anyway, another good one. Number 4, have you ever played any of the Assassin's Creed games on the Xbox 360 or PS3? No. Now I've got all of them, I think, for the for the 360. My Assassin's Creed career went no further than about 2 minutes. I think it was the very, very first one. I put on for a couple of minutes and I ran about and I'm like, nah, and then I moved on to something else. And I've got to say, I've never actually gone back to Assassin's Creed. I got all the other games. I know they're really well thought of games. I picked them all up for not very much money. Last year I think it was from CX. I've got them all, but I can't say I've played Assassin's Creed. It's one of these franchises that I've just never got into at all, and it's for no other reason other than I've just got so much other stuff to play, Tony. So, number 5, have you ever seen any of the of the Caribbean films, and if so, what are your thoughts? I enjoyed them. I mean, my wife, she loves them as well. I think we've seen them all. Was there one that came out fairly recently? I've not seen that one. Good fun, nice and entertaining. Don't ask me to name my favourite one. I couldn't even tell you the difference. They all pretty much were the same kind of formula. You know, Jack Sparrow and whatever. Good entertaining films. I mean, really, you know, high budget. So yeah, good fun. But I've not seen the last one. But I couldn't pick what one was my favourite. You know, they all kind of blend into each other. But it's like anything. It's like getting a good game franchise. They bring out a good game or a good film, you're going to get sequels, and that's what they've done with this. So yeah, quite enjoyed them. Number 6 is being a collector of a wide range of different console systems. What would be your top 4 favourite console systems that you own? Bloody hell, you certainly asked me some tough questions. Again, it's going to be difficult to... Right, okay, we're not... So you're talking about consoles, we're not going to include computers in this. Consoles... got to be the Vectrex. Now this is again in no particular order. The Vectrex is an awesome system. Now saying that, I don't play it very often, and you're probably saying, well, why do you not play your favourite system very often? And it's a stupid reason. I don't want to break it. I'm terrified that when I play it, it's going to break. But you know, what's the point of owning it if I don't play it? But I love the Vectrex to bits. It's such an original console. The concept, the vector graphics, it's never been duplicated. So I love my Vectrex. Other system, I'm going to go for the Sega Dreamcast. I love my shoot 'em ups, and the Sega Dreamcast does them by the bucket load. So for that simple reason, I mean, it's also great. It's got some fantastic arcade games. It's got Crazy Taxi, all these kind of games. Ferrari, it's F355. But just for shoot 'em ups, it's an awesome system. That's two. How many have I got? No, four. Another two. I would have to go for the Xbox 360. It's, although for me it's a modern system, it's got so many good systems. So if I was only allowed to take 4 systems with me to a desert island, I know there are so many different types of games in it. So Xbox 360, and the last one, let me think. What have I got? I've got a PS4. I've got the different PlayStations. Would I go for the PlayStation? Although I've got a PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 and 4, I didn't play the second or third one all that often. I obviously played the PlayStation a lot. Mega Drive, SNES, Atari 2600 again. I didn't play the Atari that much. I mean, I love my ColecoVision. It ticks the box. It was a system that I always wanted. The GX4000 is another great system. Neo Geo, I mean, seriously. You know what? I'm going to go for. I could go for the Mega Drive or SNES, but I'm going to go for the PC Engine because it's got some awesome arcade games. Now, although it's older than the SNES and the Mega Drive, it's just got some wicked games. Again, it's got some cracking shoot 'em ups. So yeah, PC Engine, Vectrex, Xbox 360, and what was the other one again I picked? Dreamcast. Is that it? Yeah, Dreamcast, that's it. Right, and number 7, you certainly like to get plenty of questions, Tony, which I do appreciate. Number 7, I always enjoy your 10-minute mashup gameplays on your channel, but would you consider doing a 10-minute mashup of Sega Mega Drive, Sega Master System or Dreamcast games? Absolutely, Tony. I mean, I've got all 3 of these systems. I was always going to get stuck into my Master System, but I've not done that. Again, when you've got so many bloody systems, it's hard to decide what you're going to use. I mean, I did do a sort of, I've done a feature on the Dreamcast. It was more on the sort of device thing that I've got for it. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing mashups of these, Tony. So anyway, thanks again, mate. I really do appreciate it. Sorry if it sounds like I'm rushing it, guys, but I don't want this to drag on too long. It is getting quite late and I want to get this uploaded. Kev, down the rabbit hole, thank you very much, Kev. Always rely on Kev to come up with good questions. Number 1, I was at a big pinball show last weekend and I was lucky enough to play some very old video games, older than computer space. What is the oldest machine you've ever laid your hands on? I've never played computer space. I mean, I played Pong. Have I played Pong? No, probably not. I assume we're talking about arcade games, Kev. If we're talking about consoles, probably, I mean, if we're talking about consoles, I'd probably say it's, I mean, I've got a Pong machine, probably the Vectrex, Atari 2600, but I've never played. I was at a gaming thing a couple of years ago in Edinburgh and they had a computer space, but it wasn't working, sadly. I've never played Pong. It's probably going to be back in the day playing, is it Firefox it was called? It was or Seawolf I think it is. It was a Sega game, I think, and you looked through the sort of like the periscope. It was black and white and you had to try and torpedo boats or torpedo submarines. That's probably the oldest one, but I've never played any of the real classic ones like Computer Space or anything like that at all. So yeah. Number 2, I'm seeing lots of people online thrilled about the announcement at E3 of the new Dragon Ball Z fighting game. I thought it might be an interesting topic for you to discuss. What games do you like that are based on anime? You might find this hard to believe, Kev, but I'm not a big fan of anime, to be honest with you. My daughter Ava loves drawing it. She loves drawing anime. She's actually really good at it. Saying that, a lot of the classic, amazing shoot 'em ups, the sort of bullet hell shoot 'em ups, are Japanese, and they generally have anime in them. But as far as video games or fighting games, I'm not a fan. I'm really not a fan of anime. It's not something that does anything for me at all. Like I said, my daughter loves it to bits, and I know you're a big anime fan. But I'll tolerate anime because it's in games that I like shoot 'em ups, like is it Gunbird 2 and stuff like that. But I'm not generally not a fan of anime, so I would never really go out and buy a game. I'd probably, if anything, I'd probably avoid it if it was anime. That is just me, Kev, And that was the second one. Thirdly, I'm also seeing lots of E3 excitement about the sequel to Star Wars Battlefront, and as a big fan of the first game, I confess I have zero interest in the new title. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been a big fan of a game and then the sequel comes out and you don't like what they've done? Yeah, Crackdown. The first Crackdown on the Xbox 360 was an awesome game. It's one of my favourite Xbox 360 games. It's a wonderful game. Graphically wise, it's nothing special, but it was the first kind of open world game that I ever got to play. This is before like Grand Theft Auto, certainly before I got into Grand Theft Auto. Not that I've ever really been into it, but Crackdown is an amazing game. The graphics, the fact that you could climb to the top of a building, or anywhere in the game you can get to, you can climb to the top of a building, you can kick cars off cliffs, you can throw people, you can throw cars, you can punch buses and lorries, and that amazing game. I completed it, and I mean I was really addicted to it. I played it non-stop until I completed it. They brought out the sequel, and it was like, I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I played the second one, and some days I think to myself I should really go back to it, but I don't know what it was. They changed the mechanics slightly, they changed the graphics. It just didn't feel the same, and I was a wee bit let down. Quite disappointed with it. Any other games like that where the sequel was rubbish? An early game, Year Kung Fu in the Commodore 64, great game, fantastic version. Then I was stupidly excited when Imagine were going to bring out Year Kung Fu 2, and it just turned out to be shite. Well, at least I thought it was. It was nothing like the first game, so I was bitterly disappointed with it. Any other games like that? Oh, there's probably been other ones. I mean, it's similar. Bruce Lee on the Commodore 64, an amazing game, and then they brought out Zorro, which was supposed to be like the sort of unofficial sequel, and Zorro was crap. So anyway, yeah. And finally, on the subject, sorry, wait a minute, that happened to you. Yeah, sorry, you're talking about the only time that's happened to you was Assassin's Creed 2. And finally, on the subject of Assassin's Creed, does the new setting interest you? I can't think of a lot of games with Egypt as their setting other than Tutankhamun in the arcades. What other games, both recent and retro, have an Egyptian feel? I've not, as I mentioned there earlier on to Tony, I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed at all, Kev. It's a franchise I've never played, not because I don't like it, it's just I've never played it. But Egyptian wise, only two games I can think of. Entombed on the Commodore 64 was set in a tomb, funnily enough, and the other one, which is more recent, was Serious Sam and Serious Sam 2. Both came out on the PC, and I think Serious Sam 2 came out on was it the Xbox possibly? can't remember exactly. I think there's a new version as well. I think there's a 3D version, or not 3D, a VR version. That's the only 2 games. The only other one I can think of, which was kind of Egyptian, was oh bloody hell, what's it called? It's made by. My mind is going a complete blank. Oh, what's it called? It's made by the same people that made Forbidden Forest. Oh man, you know what? I can't remember. My mind is going a complete blank. Aztec Challenge, that's the game. I'll put a wee link to it up there. Aztec Challenge, you've basically got to, it's a series of kind of missions, and that was based on Egypt stuff. But I can't think of any more. But that's 3 games anyway, so yeah. So anyway, Kev, thank you very much, Squire. That's awesome as always. Right, I've got 2 more batches to go, guys. Carol Todd, you mentioned playing 2-player games in the past, such as Sensei Soccer. I wonder if you ever played any games where you have to link up multiple computers, consoles for 2-player games. If I ever had a chance, I used to love playing Stunt Car Racer and 2 linked up Amigas. I've never actually played any linked up games, Carol. I think me and my mates were just too lazy. I mean, you know, me and my mates all had Amigas, but we never ever thought about doing that. Don't know why. We just never did it. I think the only time I played a linked up system in the same room would be the original Game Boy. Was it golf? You could play golf with a cable. You had to sit quite close to each other, obviously. But that was the only system that I played with a linked up thing. Definitely didn't play any other. Don't recall ever playing any other systems. Nah, we just obviously never lived properly. Number 2 from Carol. As we know, you have a wide variety of systems, but what is your favourite controller joystick? Joystick, if we're going for old style joystick, it's got to be the Wico Boss, which is it's upstairs, I'm not going to bother getting it. It's a big grey base, huge big base, and it's got this long shaft over misses, and it's got a nice button on the top. What I liked about it was you could hold it like that and just click, so you're basically holding it like that, and you could, you know, rapid fire. It felt more like an analog joystick, because to move you had to literally go, I mean, it was like that amount of movement, so it probably wasn't the best joystick for digital games like on the Commodore 64, but it was a joystick that I owned back in the day, and I had 2 of them, and they were just fantastic, and I managed to get one a couple of years ago on eBay, so that's my favourite joystick. Favourite controller, I would probably go for the PS4 controller. I wasn't a fan of the PS3 controller. It felt kind of too light and flimsy and just cheapy. I like the Xbox 360 controller. I think it's great. The new Xbox One is quite similar, but the PS4 controller, it's just that bit sort of wider, and it just sits really well. I think that's probably my favourite controller. And the Wico Boss would be my favourite joystick. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I've still got a couple more. That was that. Number 3, there have been some games that were released that were more of a concept than an actual game. Thinking of things like Deus Ex Machina by, who was that again? That was by Automata, Mel Croucher. If you're of a certain age, you might know who Mel Croucher was. Google it and find out. Little Computer People. Do you have any memories, thoughts about these? I never ever had Deus Ex Machina, because I think, was it not only on the Spectrum? It might have been released in the Commodore 64, but I remember reading about it at the time and thinking, that looks like a lot of shite, and I didn't bother with it. Saying that, we did play it in the computer club. You can actually download, I mean, when you bought the game, it came with a soundtrack on tape, which you would play along to the actual game. You had to stop and start it. But one of the guys, we fired up Deus Ex Machina on an emulator. In fact, no, it wasn't an emulator, it was actually a Spectrum, and we downloaded the tape. So through an MP3 player, we played through it. It's a bizarre thing, but you know what? 10 out of 10 for innovation. Little Computer People, I love to bits. I had that, I bought it on disc when it first came out, and I loved it to bits. It's just it's just something different. We were talking about that a few waffles ago, how companies now are not willing to take the risk to bring out anything that's even slightly different from what's selling. They just want to keep bringing out the same games over and over again. That's a shame. I can't think of any other games that were more experiences. There was a game on the 3DS, on the DS, Electroplankton. It was called Electroplankton, and basically it was like a kind of music game. You had these little things, and you just touched them, and you made patterns, and it played music, and it was quite a bizarre thing. It was one of the release games on the DS, the DS Lite, I think it was. Well, not the DS Lite, but on the DS, I should say. Electroplankton. That was quite an original game. Obviously, other games was like, wasn't it that game? The Jeff Minter's sort of light synthesizers. What was it called? Psychedelia, and he also brought out another one. He brought out another one for Atari ST, whose name like something Tripatron was it, I think. But Psychedelia was a light synthesizer. In other words, you played music and you just moved the joystick and made patterns, and it was just a chill out tool. Wasn't something I particularly got into, but again, it's all credit to Jeff Minter for doing stuff like that. But yeah, I love Little Computer People. Thought that was excellent. It's nice to see originality like that, and we may get it with the sort of the indie games, but largely it's going to be more FIFA 10s or whatever we're up to now, FIFA 18, 19. That's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately, guys. But at least with indie stuff, we do occasionally get some original games, So yeah, and last one from Carol. Last question, a bit off topic. I think I'm just a year younger than you, so I have similar memories. My early experiences of arcades were all from the time when we went on holiday or the odd weekend away to places like Blackpool, so I would often wait several months between visits to the arcade. One thing I distinctly remember was the gradual phasing out of mechanical machines for video games. There were two mechanical games I loved back then, Chopper by Midway and Moto Champ by Sega. I wonder if you had any memories of these mechanical games that used to be in arcades. Because I didn't get to visit arcades very often, Carl, and I'm talking about my arcade experience was, the M6 services going down to London on holiday. My mum and dad were not fans of Blackpool, so I only actually went to Blackpool a few times. I went with my sister and her boyfriend at the time, who's now her husband, and I also went. Me and my mate used to get a bus. The local community used to run a bus to Blackpool, and we used to go down and play the arcades. I don't remember any of these mechanical ones. The only one I can remember, there was obviously the light, not light guns, well it was kind of light guns. You shot these targets like cowboy and westerns, and you shot different bullseyes and things would pop up and stuff like that. I remember these kind of like shooting galleries, I think you would call them. The other thing I remember similar to that was it was like a pigeon, clay pigeon shooting, but it was just like a background of sky, and I think it was like lights, so rather than a clay pigeon it was just like a kind of light, and you used to try and shoot it. I mean, I never played it, I always thought it was pretty rubbish, but that's the only game I can remember. I can't say I remember any of the mechanical arcade games, but yeah, it's mental when you think that that's where it started, and then obviously the computer chip came along, and the rest is history. So anyway, again, thanks very much, Carl. Do appreciate your constant support. And finally, guys, Scott Retrohawk, what are your thoughts on the new Xbox X console? To me, it seems like a pretty good deal tech-wise, as what it would cost to build a PC of similar specs for gaming. We were talking about that earlier on. I've not paid any attention, Scott, to the latest Xbox. So you're saying it's going to be like a really, really good computer. If that's the case, if it's going to compete with a top-end PC, then that's fantastic. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be costing, £300-400. If you're getting a really top-of-the-range console that's similar to a high-spec PC, that's got to be good. Is it something that I'm going to be interested in? Probably not, but is there a need for it? In my opinion, no, but you know what, yeah, it may turn out to be pretty good. And the last part of Scott's questions, apparently Xbox have got a game subscription where you pay £7 a month and get access to lots of games. That's actually a really good idea. I mean, for somebody like myself, it's pointless because I've got so many games to play. But see, if you were, we were talking about that. I was talking about this in a video I put out earlier this week or last week. Was it this week? I think it was, about having too many games and that kind of stuff, and how do you decide what games to play. When you've got so many games, you simply don't play anything, and that's what happens. Or you maybe play the odd game. The ideal thing for any gamer would be to have one system and just do something like that. £7 a month, play as many games as you want. You're not going to be spending loads of money. You know what I mean? You're going to spend £84 a year on virtually unlimited games. I'm guessing the games are going to be kind of older games, but yeah, I'm all for that. It's great. It's not something that I'm going to use, but it's good. I mean, we now seem to be living in the sort of the culture of you don't own games. It's like all the PlayStation Plus thing and the Xbox Gold thing. You don't. All you're really doing is hiring the game. As long as you've got a membership, you can play it. But as soon as you don't have the membership, you can't access the games. I'm all for that. You know what I mean? It's cheaper games for people, so that's great. So anyway, listen. Thank you very much, Scott. Always appreciate that. Finally, guys, if you're on my Mainmeister Facebook page, you might see that this time next week, well, it's about 10 o'clock at night on Friday, this time next week, I will shortly be embarking on the West Highland Way race. It's 95 miles without stopping. People think that you stop overnight, you don't, you run continually. So my best time is 30.5 hours. Going by what the training that I've done over the last 3-4 months, through no fault of my own, I've had a few health issues, it's going to be a lot longer than that. If I can get a finish, I'll be delighted. But I've decided there's a little, there's a children's hospice. It's not a hospice as such, it's called a respite unit, and it basically provides support for terminally ill kids and their families to go along, have a bit of fun. The parents can leave the kids for a couple of hours or for a day, whatever, and they'll be well looked after. Now, I've been in there. It's a very, very small place. It's like a large house. I think it's got 7 bedrooms. The last twice I've done this race, I've raised about £800 all in, and it goes towards, the last time I did the money, it went towards a sensory room for the kids. All these kids, they're not going to live for very long. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get given a tour the last time I was there, and I was kind of having to hold back the tears. It's very, very hard to see these kids, but you know what? You come out there thinking these kids are so happy, you know, and the people, the staff in this place is just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I decided last night, I thought I'm going to try and raise some money now. I thought I might get 50 quid. I've been blown away with the generosity of some people already, but basically the way it works is that the place is called Sundach. They don't have a Just Giving page because they're too small. So what I've set up is a Just Giving crowdfund. Basically every penny that people give me goes to me. I withdraw the money. Just Giving, they take, I think, 3%, which is fair enough. It's their cost for the website, and then I take the money out and go up with a big fat cheque. In fact, I'll just take out a big wad of notes and I'll take it up to them and hand it in. If you'd like to sponsor me, guys, please do so. Doesn't matter how small a sponsorship is, you know. Don't feel any pressure to do it, because I know these things are a pain in the arse. You get asked for charity donations all the time, but this is an epic thing. I know, you know, a lot of people, it's quite far away, but at the end of the day, young children with illnesses, it's something that's close to a lot of us, you know. So if you want to check it out, guys, that would be absolutely wonderful. And finally, before I go, Play Glasgow is tomorrow, so myself and my daughter are heading through, and we're going to get there about 10 o'clock. My daughter's getting dressed up. She's going as an Overwatch character. I'm just going as a fat bloke with a t-shirt and a pair of jeans on. If you do happen to be there and you see me, please come up and say hello. It's always absolutely excellent to catch up with people. I'm looking forward to playing lots of video games, but my daughter's going to be there, so we always have to compromise and go along with her as well when she does her cosplay thing and that as well. So Anyway, it's getting late. I want to get this thing uploaded. So, yeah, it just remains for me to say thank you very much to all your continued support, to all the guys that give me the questions, all the comments. It's bloody awesome. Subscriber numbers are going up through the roof, which is just absolutely mental, you know. So, as usual, guys, thank you very much for watching.